Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ledger Support Ask Me Anything Wednesday live stream. Today I'm running the show. I'm Ben, and here's Tim helping me out.
Hey guys.
Familiar face for you guys. We're here to answer all your questions, crypto related, ledger related, whatever that might be. So feel free right now if you've got any questions you want us to cover in the show, throw them in the thread, and we will make sure to address those. Yeah. So we don't have many questions in the thread right here, but we will just start going with those, I guess.
Yeah, let's do it.
So hi guys, question: how can I disconnect my ledger from Ledger Live? Tim, you want to take the first?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So how can I disconnect my ledger from Ledger Live? Let's see. So can you switch to the other view so I can show them what I'm doing here, and then maybe hide the. Sweet. All right. So as you can see, we got Ledger Live pulled up, and we have our Nano right here. And if you go to the Accounts tab right here, I'll just go. Go to the Accounts tab, you'll see there's all these different accounts right here that are associated with this specific Nano. So if you want to, you'll see that my Nano is not connected to Ledger Live right now. It's currently disconnected, and yet the accounts are still here. So technically, simply by not having your Nano connected, you are disconnected from Ledger Live. But if you're talking about you want your accounts to not be showing in Ledger Live, if that's the case, then you would actually have to remove your accounts. Ben, can you show them how to remove an account?
Yeah,
Pick
sure.
anyone.
Go ahead and remove this ETH account.
Yeah.
Why not? So first you want to open up the account in question, whichever one you want to remove. If you're just removing one or two, you want to do it manually here. Trying to get all your accounts out of Ledger Live, you can actually reset the software. We'll show you where that button is in a second. You go into your account settings up here, and then you got this red button. It says remove from portfolio. So we'll delete this ETH account. Sure. So it's important to note here, right? Swap transaction history will be removed, but as you'll see in a moment, the ETH itself is still in that account, and we can still access it. So yeah, here we are. We've removed the ETH account. You can't see it in Ledger Live.
Yep. Now, if you want to add the account back in, you can just reconnect your Nano and add the account back in. So let me go ahead and throw my pin in here off screen.
So a common misconception we get about accounts, right, is people delete an account. They think, oh no, I've deleted the crypto in there. I can't access it anymore. Yep. That's not the case. All accounts are tied to your recovery phrase, the 24 words you wrote down when you set up your device. And so you can access those accounts in perpetuity by re-adding them.
All right, cool. Go ahead and open the ETH app. So right now it's synchronizing. So it sent a request to the Nano and it said, hey, this person, whoever is controlling this, wants to add this ETH account. So let's send a request to the connected device. And now the device is generating that, and it's sending the public wallet addresses that can be derived back to Ledger Live. So then you can just add them right back into Ledger Live. You can see it's the exact same ETH balance right there. I usually do ETH-S+, but you can just whatever for this. There we go. Yeah, we don't have that one. A dust account.
Yeah, just like that, you've got the same Ethereum address with the same balance added back in Ledger Live. So
yep.
For adding and removing accounts, you can do that. But in your case, if you're trying to disconnect and get all of your information out of there, you can either delete the specific accounts, or if you want to remove all of the accounts, you can reset Ledger Live in the settings. Don't reset. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in the help. Yep.
Yeah. Settings, help, and then reset Ledger Live down here. You hit the red button. This will pull you all the way out, so it will delete your accounts. It will also take you out of, like all the way back to as if it was a fresh installation of Ledger Live. You'll have to go through the onboarding flow again, which involves connecting a device and performing a genuineness.
Yeah, we can go through it. We don't have a lot of questions, but we don't really need to, though. Okay, I guess we don't really.
Yeah. I think for me, every time I end up resetting Ledger Live a lot by accident.
I do it
or moving other JSONs in, and
yeah,
to me it's just trouble. But
it is. I was doing it every week for the onboarding, so basically, I would reset my Ledger Live every single week to do the live onboardings that we do on Fridays, and it was just getting to be so tedious to have to like go in and redo all my accounts constantly. But I've gotten really good at it. So.
But I guess if you want to see that process, you can also go back then and find one
That's
of those
true.
onboarding videos.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Yep. Roberta Osborne needs the USA support link or customer care service link. Yeah, great. So let's show that. So we'll pull up Chrome and we can show you right where to go if you want to get support. So yeah, you can go to support.ledger.com. Take you right to our support landing page. It's also the front page of our help center, so you can find information to help yourself if you have a simple question. Great place to start while you wait to hear back from us. And then you can use the Contact Us button to open either a chat or an email ticket with us. So right now, there should be some people still live chat available. If you want immediate US support, hop in there, open a live chat, come chat with one of our agents. If no one's available to chat, it'll put you into an email. But yeah, great place to start. But I do recommend searching your problem here. A lot of the more basic, anything in Ledger Live, and even some third-party wallet issues are documented in our help center, and you can usually find a guide that'll help you through it faster than a human can get back to you.
Yeah, most likely. And we have actually a very impressive collection of help center.
Yep.
So over the last, like, I'd say year and a half, we've really been ramping up our help center articles. So if you haven't checked out our support page yet, this link right here, support.ledger.com, you may be surprised at how many different guides that we have available for users who are just trying to do things like how to withdraw your crypto from an exchange. We have like specific articles for specific exchanges, like how to withdraw from crypto.com to your Ledger accounts, how to withdraw from Binance to your crypto accounts, like things like that. If you just kind of type that into the search bar, you just might find what you need.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even going to Google, typing in a general crypto question, and then throwing the word Ledger after it.
Add Ledger, yeah.
That's how I find most of the stuff.
That's how I do it too, yeah.
And beyond our help center, we actually also have our Ledger Academy, which is a great resource if you're just trying to learn about crypto in general.
Yeah.
Ledger Academy covers sort of bigger topics. What is a blockchain? How do crypto wallets work? And so if you have a general crypto question too, throw that in Google and give it a try. See what comes up. Throw Ledger after there as well. This is a great place. I mean, in crypto, people always say do your own research, and I remember when I got into crypto, I would hear that a lot. But it's like, where do I go?
Yeah, where do I? Okay, great.
It's like I'm on Reddit just reading a thread, arguing with people. But Ledger Academy has a lot of really valuable content, and since we're just in the business of security and self custody, we don't have an incentive to show projects, and it's nice. It's great content.
We are very coin agnostic, like everybody. So we don't play favorites.
Yes, indeed. So I will throw, before I go, I'll throw this link for you in the thread here as well. So if you want to open a ticket, you can just come right here. Ledger. Perfect. All right. Want to handle this one?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Which one?
Sorry. Rick Caruso asked, if a hacker gained access to our computer or smartphone, will our crypto assets still be safe? Rick, that's a great question.
That's a very good question. Yeah.
Want to take it away?
Yeah, you want me to? Yeah. Real quick, Roberta, yes, this is the USA live stream. Yep. But yes, Rick Caruso, if a hacker gained access to our computer or smartphone, will our crypto assets still be safe? Well, the quick answer to that is yes. There's really nothing that, it's actually, it's very nuanced, actually. So let me just throw out the scenario real quick where you would not be safe. And so it all comes down to how you have your recovery phrase stored, your 24-word recovery phrase, the one that you set up when you first set up your Nano. Now, if a hacker were to gain access to your computer and your recovery phrase was safely stored offline and not in any way that can be accessed by that computer, then it would be impossible for that hacker to compromise your account, because without that recovery phrase, it really can't be done. Even if your Nano was actively connected to your computer and it was unlocked with your PIN and it was just sitting there, just like how my Nano is sitting here right now, and someone were to take control of my computer, full control, they would not be able to access the information in that Nano. They would not be able to do anything with it. They wouldn't be able to extract the seed. So the only way that people actually get wrecked by their computers or devices getting hacked is when they chose to store their recovery phrase digitally in some format on their computer. So the most common probably is taking a photograph of it and just saving it in your gallery. That's like the most intuitive thing to do. We take photos of everything. I don't know about you, but in my gallery on my phone, I take a photo of every single receipt. I take a photo of all my important documents. I take a photo of pretty much everything, and I save it in different folders in my phone. That way, I have access to all this information. The issue, though, with a seed phrase is if someone were to hack my phone and I had a picture of my seed phrase, they would immediately have access to all my recovery phrase, all my crypto accounts. And so that's like one of those things that you really don't want to take a picture of and store in your phone, as well as like, passwords for things. You don't want to store those as a photo, but it's especially important with the recovery phrase. And now you also do not want to store your recovery phrase in any digital format, not just a picture. You don't want to store it inside of a password manager app. You don't want to store it inside of any kind of encrypted file. You don't want to store it on a thumb drive because the only way to get it on a thumb drive is to have that thumb drive connected to a computer that can then get it on there. So it just creates all these potential avenues that you could get hacked. And so the very simple answer, the secret to not being able to get hacked is to not create the situation where someone can hack you in the first place. And the only way to do that is to always keep it offline. Write it down on the little piece of paper, keep that in a safe. It never touches the internet, and it's impossible to get hacked that way.
Yeah, it's really thorough.
Thanks.
Another thing I like to do to think about it, just to take it from the other side, is if you look at Ledger Live and you put your device away, you see what buttons you can press and can't press. Eventually, you'll end up somewhere in a flow where it says connect your Ledger device. That is the same place a hacker would get stopped, right? So you can go into Ledger Live, you can look at your balances, you can try to send. We can actually demonstrate that right now. Right? I'm in Ledger Live.
Unplug the Nano.
Unplug the Nano. What can we do, right? So I've got Tim's accounts here. I'm in charge of his computer. How about I send myself some ETH? So you go to send. Well, you won't make it very far. Put in an ETH address.
I know some ENSs.
We'll just grab yours.
Yeah,
for the sake of the exercise.
Yep.
I am a scammer. I've gotten into Ledger Live. ETH address in here.
Whoa.
Pick the amount. Oh, fees high.
You got to add the evil laugh.
I'm gonna make it. Got the fees set high. I'm gonna send myself all of Tim's ETH. Look, we've got the transaction queued up. We're ready to roll. Right here. Can't send it, right? So you need that device approval. In the same way, if I was to go and try to swap, buy, receive, or I guess not receive, but anything that could compromise or access his assets require the device approval.
You can send me ETH.
I could send you ETH,
Yeah.
but I don't want to.
Okay,
It's fine. Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah. Let's see. I think there was one follow-up question from Alberto Ramirez on that.
Okay.
So if I took a picture of my seed phrase by mistake, I did not send the picture to anybody, and I keep my phone, anyway, is my seed phrase at risk? That's more of a theory question, but
It is. Yeah, it could be. It really depends. Most modern devices, phones, specifically mobile devices, they are connected via cloud services. So if you have an iPhone, then it'll probably auto back up to the your iCloud account. If you have a Android device, you most likely have a Google account that or a Samsung account or some account that's cloud based where your information is being backed up. And so one quick answer that you can if you were to go upgrade your phone, would you be able to log into an app to transfer all your data from your old phone to your new phone? That's kind of the go-to way that people upgrade their phones these days is, you install an app, you log into it, and then all your information is just bloop, loaded onto your new phone. It's very seamless. And that's only possible through the use of cloud technology. And so if your information is backed up in any way in some kind of a cloud account, then it could be susceptible. Not saying, now I don't want to create any like crazy alarm or fear, for you to feel like you have to act right away. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are hacked. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be hacked, but it is something. If you did take a picture of your seed phrase, I would definitely at least consider going through the steps to, generate a new secure recovery phrase, and then, safely and, at your own pace, move all your crypto to your new accounts, just in case. Because it's not about being paranoid. It's just about being, what's the word I'm looking for? Cautious. It's about being cautious. I mean, if someone steals your crypto, there's nothing you can do about it. And so it only takes one mistake. And so if you have even an inkling You know, like of like, oh man, did I do something? A good example is early on in my crypto career, I didn't fully understand like how important seed phrases were, and I actually imported my seed phrase from my ledger into a hot wallet on my computer to gain access to my coins. I thought I was being clever. I was like, oh, you know, yeah, I can go in and connect my hardware wallet, but I also am like this, you know, super cyberpunk, and I'm gonna put in my seed phrase. And then I learned like a year later, like, oh shoot, like I just exposed my seed phrase. And I'm really glad I didn't get a virus in that time, you know, that could have like stolen that from my computer. And I went through the steps to redo my seed phrase. So it can happen to anybody. It's very common. We have a help center article generating a new recovery phrase.
Yeah. I think on that, the thing you want to understand is that like, if you have a screenshot or have taken a picture of your recovery phrase, you don't know whether or not it's compromised. It is potentially compromised, or it could potentially be, and you won't know until you know by having all your assets.
And then it'll be too late.
Yeah. I, for example, I found recently a screenshot of my Reddit Moons recovery phrase.
Oh, really?
They are still there. It was great to find them. I moved them out, but
yeah.
You know, it's early mistakes you make in crypto can come back and bite you down the road. Got a question about HBAR here. So, hey guys, contacted support a couple of days ago when asking about HBAR and Hashpack, issues on staking from a node. Pretty sure it's Ledger Live issue. Hoping for HBAR support in the future, or better HBAR support. Yeah, HBAR is a tricky one.
It is very tricky.
And Hashpack makes it more complicated, and the staking experience is far from as seamless as Cardano or and Atom or things like that in Ledger Live.
Yeah.
And that's a tricky one. That requires a lot of interplay between us and HBAR, like us, our developers, I guess, Ledger and HBAR. But it is a pain point that's been identified. We've gotten a lot of feedback on it. So it's on our radar and definitely something that's being worked on.
Yep.
For the time being, especially with staking, it's, you know, you got to go to Hashpack. And that experience will just remain tricky for the time being. But yeah, as you said, in the future, better support.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that's being worked on.
Luckily, though, once you're in Hashpack, once you get through the gauntlet to get into Hashpack and you're successfully connected, once you're in, it's actually a pretty good wallet. It's pretty intuitive. It's pretty user friendly. It's just getting everything connected that's kind of a slog.
Yeah. Big pain. Roberto Osborne asks whether there's a way to use ACH to buy crypto, linking the account through Plaid, for example. Roberto, so yeah, we are located in the United States as well. Your best bet, if you're looking to buy crypto, you can use the buy button in Ledger Live. It'll give you all kinds of options. I don't know if in the States we have ACH.
I don't know, because I know that you...
We've got PayPal, which is kind of the best. That's a more recent integration, and that's usually the best experience for U.S. buyers. Certainly my preferred experience.
Definitely.
But you can compare providers as well here and see. Oh yeah, so we have Instant ACH down here. So if you go in Ledger Live, if you click on the Buy Sell tab, it does depend on the pair, because certain pairs are only supported by certain providers. Right. So if you're trying to buy more obscure crypto that maybe only one provider offers, you might not see that ACH option, but you should be able to. Yeah, so Sardine will be your best bet. Cool. And you're buying ETH or probably Bitcoin. I don't know what else Sardine supports, but
yeah, more of the common ones.
Yeah. So you can either go straight through that buy flow, or you can go to the Discover tab and you should be able to find Sardine in here. Well, right? Yeah. And this interface will allow you to interact just with Sardine. You can set up your ACH details and work with.
You can set up your whole account, I think, through here. Yep. Select account.
Yeah, it looks like they support Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other coins.
And many other coins, whatever those might be. Actually, looks like many.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. Cool,
yeah. So, to answer your question, Roberto Osborne, yes, in the US you can use ACH by working through Sardine. Using the Buy Sell tab.
I don't know if it's showing.
Oh, man.
It doesn't look like it's showing. I'm not sure if they're able to see.
What could be doing that?
I think it might have been maybe how I set it up. If I didn't select the option to show like window views within the app, I could have messed up.
Well, it looks like even now it's not showing live.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to play with that real quick?
Yeah, I'm tripping.
Sorry about this, folks. I will try to find a question I can answer here while Tim sorts out the technicals. We didn't realize Ledger Live wasn't showing you what we were trying to show you. Who's calling about a Nano from Amazon? This is a great question from Rick Caruso. A business colleague bought his Nano on Amazon. Are his crypto assets safe? So first and foremost, we do have a legitimate Ledger store on Amazon. You can buy Ledger devices right on Amazon, get them shipped to you from Amazon. Those are real Ledger devices. So a lot of people, there's a misconception that buying through a third party is somehow more risky. And while there are cases where maybe non-certified resellers, like third parties, will purchase devices, open the device, add a recovery phrase in the box, and then resell it and try to trick you that way.
Very uncommon, but
Very uncommon.
not unheard of.
But that's where that sort of myth that third parties are unsafe came from. But ultimately, whenever you buy a Ledger device, when you first set up Ledger Live and connect, you perform something called a genuineness check, where you connect your Ledger to Ledger Live. Ledger Live talks to our Ledger backend infrastructure and actually verifies the genuineness of your device. So it makes sure that you have a legitimate Ledger device running legitimate Ledger firmware. And from there, you're good to go regardless of where you bought it. So an example that came up a while back was the idea of, like, I could happily go to a gas station, buy a Ledger from a random person behind the 7-Eleven, and plug that into Ledger Live. And as long as I pass that genuineness check, I trust that that device is legitimate. Ledger Live does that. And every time you connect to Ledger Live and interact with the My Ledger tab, update firmware or install apps, a genuineness check is equally performed. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Buying from third parties, you can still confirm that your device is genuine. Okay. Shaikh Ajid asks, Ledger Recovery update, stopped or active? Please tell me. Ledger Recover is something that is still coming. It's a service, an opt-in service that is planned in the future. But again, it's important to emphasize that it's not necessarily an update. We're not adding this to everything. You are not forced to partake, and it is a opt-in service that you will be able to subscribe to if you're interested in using the service.
Yep.
Anything to add?
No, that's it. Yeah.
We figure out the technical
I
issue?
don't know what's going on with Ledger Live. Doesn't seem to be showing anything we're doing in Ledger, although Chrome works.
Okay.
So yeah, we may just have to kind of deal with it and press on.
Yeah.
We'll just be really good at describing what we're doing.
Yeah.
We'll use our words.
That works.
All right.
Okay.
I think we got...
When will the credit card become available in the United States? Tim, do you have any info on CL card?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have like any updates, unfortunately. But I can tell you a little bit about how it works. So the CL card is powered by our partner banks. And they are a centralized institution that does all the work behind that. They offer the card. They are partnered with us to allow users to log into their Crypto Live card accounts through Ledger Live, load up their card and whatnot. But it is them that actually are like who roll it out to the different areas. So unfortunately, we have very little like say in which countries are going to become available next. I will say though that in talks with them, they have indicated that the United States is next on the list, or they're targeting to roll out as soon as possible in the United States. And so that's really all the information we have. I don't know what sort of like legal and regulatory concerns that they're dealing with in order to do that. I have no idea. But I am very much eager for it, and hopefully we will get it soon.
Yeah,
because it's
been on that wait list for a while.
Yeah, me too.
Wait
I mean, 2% cash back in BTC, and it's just
not bad.
Yeah, I want to check it out. I just want to. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so no more updates there, but
Yep.
we're all patiently waiting.
Yep.
Losing My Mind Crypto asks, can you create easier instructions to move XTC to Ledger Nano S Plus? Friends and I have had no luck at all with the videos.
Ah,
Yeah, so this is tough, right? Like this is kind of the problem we face on a day-to-day more generally is taking complex crypto things and making them accessible for non-programmer people, because we don't expect you guys to be tech whizzes. It's great. A lot of people are come with really good questions.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen, I guess, what's the latest on XTC?
So we're using the XTC wallet now. which looks actually almost exactly like my Ether wallet, but it's the XCC wallet. You can still use my Ether wallet, I believe. I think you can still use my crypto wallet, although these wallets change so often that we have to go in and check every once in a while. But right now, our latest Help Center article is there we go. There we go. Cool. So we got this Help Center article. We can actually go in and just show them the whole process.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know if I have the XCC app installed.
Okay.
So
I'll do the link first. So yeah, we have this article. I don't know if you've seen this. Losing My Mind Crypto. I'll throw this in the thread just so you can follow along if you're trying to get some XDC secured by your Ledger device. But we'll walk through this.
yeah, let's do it.
All right, so there's the link for you. And then we'll go to Ledger Live. We'll get the app installed real quick, and we will be off to the races.
All right. So yeah, we're connecting to the My Ledger tab, using our words here. We're just gonna get the XCC app installed real quick. That's all we're doing in Ledger Live right now. I think it actually might open. Nope, it's not.
So as with all unique networks, you need to have the app installed on your device. If you're new to Ledger, these apps allow your device itself to derive the specific public and private key pair on the specific network. So it takes your secret recovery phrase and generates the address, pushes the address publicly, and it keeps the private key on the device, which allows you to sign transactions using that device.
Yep. All right, cool. So now we got to go to the XTC.
Okay.
Data wallet.
The latest and greatest. XDC has been through a number of changes lately. First, they were doing hex addresses, and then they added an XDC prefix. So if you've been with XDC for a while, you've probably been through quite a few software wallets.
Like this is straight.
Says access wallet. So in this case, this button would probably give you a new recovery phrase and set up a hot wallet. But since we already have a Ledger device, we can use Access My Wallet. And we go here. You got hardware wallets.
Make sure your Ledger is connected with the XDC app opened up before going through these steps. You'll likely get an error message.
Yeah. So here you have a couple different networks to choose from. You'll choose XDC network, that derivation path, and then we'll actually need to close Ledger Live in order to connect via USB.
Good idea.
So something to note, if you're using third-party wallets, Ledger Live and any other wallet will typically compete for that USB connection.
Yeah.
Ledger Live usually wins, so if you're having a hard time connecting to MetaMask, or
anything.
In this case, XDC wallet, you want to make sure Ledger Live is closed in the background. And here we go. Just like that, you'll select which address you want. It's always good to start with 0, just so you don't lose track of things. They will always come through in this order, so you always want to start with the highest one. There. Oh,
Already selected.
picked. Okay, you accept the terms, and bam.
You're in.
There you go.
Yep.
If you want to send to this, you can generate a QR code here or no. All right, you can copy the address here and paste that into your exchange to secure your XDC with your Ledger device.
Yep.
Sweet.
And I just want to add, connecting to this wallet, the XCC wallet, is just as secure as if XCC was fully supported in Ledger Live. This is the same process that you'll go through when you add any account to Ledger Live. In any case, the private key is never shared. As far as your Nano is concerned, it just did the exact same thing that it would have adding any other account to Ledger Live. It's just saying, okay, yeah, here's a public wallet address. Sure, you can display what's in this account, but you're going to need me to sign it. And it will never give up the private keys. Yep.
Cool. Some love for Hashpack. Purchasing. Okay. Ricardo Bustillos asks, how can we buy Stronghold on Ledger? I'd imagine that's a token. I feel like I've seen the name for Stronghold before.
I'm not sure.
It might be supported in the buy tab of Ledger Live. You can press that buy button and search through a variety of assets. If it's not there, then you'll need to use an exchange or perhaps a DEX to purchase that. But then you can probably secure it with your Ledger device, depending on what network it's on.
I just want to shout out PJ came in with a very good reminder saying that to use Google Chrome because there's certain browsers such as Firefox that no longer support web HID connections. And so you will not be able to use your Nano to connect to anything on like Firefox and certain other Chrome is the way to go. Chrome or Brave.
Yeah. Okay. I tried using my Nano S 24 Word to restore to a Nano X, but the X would allow me to authorize transactions. It gave me an error. Use the same sign-in code. Okay, Bitcoin company. That sounds like a tricky situation to be in. It sounds like you took your original 24 Word recovery phrase from a Nano S device, imported it into a new Nano X, and now you're receiving some sort of error. Typically, when it comes to recovery phrases and receiving errors, the most common one is the invalid recovery phrase error. This just means that whatever recovery phrase is stored in your device is different than the recovery phrase used to generate the address that you're trying to send from. In this case, a number of things could have happened. So it could have been an error when you first recorded your 24-word recovery phrase that left you with 24 words that weren't the 24 words in your device. It could also be just that you picked 1 or 2 words wrong when you were entering it into your Nano X. Both of those are possible, or even if you had a passphrase, perhaps, associated with your Nano S, that could be causing this error too. These things can get kind of tricky, so ultimately, like, if you want someone to really break it down and help you out with it, you might want to hop into a live chat or open an email with us just to actually have that one-on-one conversation. But right off the bat, reading your message, that's kind of what I think could be going on.
Yep. I will say that most commonly, because we deal with a lot of cases like this, people are like, hey, I put in my 24 words into a new device and I'm getting this error message. It's not working. I don't have access to my accounts. I will say that almost every single time, in fact, I don't know if I have had cases where someone did not write it down initially correct the first time, but it's much more common that the issue happened during the importing of the recovery phrase into the new device. And that's kind of because of how the devices are how the user interface is when importing a phrase back in. When you're initially writing down your phrase, you're actually physically writing it down. It's much less likely that you would make a mistake at that point since you're handwriting it down. But when you're importing your phrase back in, what will happen is you'll be selecting letters for each word, one letter at a time, and your Nano has the full list of what, there's only 2,048 total possible words that can be used in any recovery phrase. And all recovery phrases are pulled from the same list of words. So your Nano knows what you're like, it can narrow down what you're trying to type in as you're putting in letters. And so what's really common is like if a word from someone is blur, BULR, and that person types in BLU, and then it defaults on blue, because blue alphabetically comes before blur, but the person needs to then scroll to the right and select blur, not blue, and they accidentally select blue instead. So it's much more common that the mistake happens during the importing. And so in most cases, it's like, oh yeah, just reset your Nano and try again. And that's usually good enough. That usually fixes most issues. So that would be my first suggestion to you is, okay, well, if it didn't work the first time, could have potentially been an issue, like maybe just reset and try again and see if you get it right the same time.
Yeah, and then one more idea there, maybe you don't want to reset your device. You can also install and use the Recovery Check app.
That's way better idea.
This is an app that you can install on your device. It actually doesn't do anything to manage crypto. All it does is it lets you enter a 24-word recovery phrase physically onto the device, as you only ever should. And then it just checks, are the 24 words that you entered the same as the ones stored on the device? So if you have multiple Nanos with multiple recovery phrases, this is a good way to keep track of them. But also if you're getting a recovery phrase error, it's good to double check, okay, are the words I have on my paper or my steel the same as the words in the device? So Recovery Check app. Yeah, so we have a Help Center article here. I'll throw it in the chat as well for you. The Recovery Check app, I recommend everyone does it. Yeah. If you have a 24-word recovery phrase, you have a working device, and you haven't checked that the words are correct, it's good to run a recovery check, because where you don't want to end up is 5 years down the line, if your device breaks, you go to your recovery phrase, you import it, and you find that, okay, a word was incorrect, or I can't read a word. That's a situation where you might not have access to those assets.
Yeah,
so.
True. Yeah, I check my recovery phrase like not super regularly because it's not something you necessarily have to do all the time, but like once a year, just for peace of mind.
Yeah.
Like, hey, is this recovery phrase? Okay, cool, it's a match. We're good. Because basically, you'll enter it into your device and it'll tell you yes or no.
Yeah.
It won't tell you what the phrase is in your device, but it will tell you if it doesn't match. And so then, if it doesn't match, it's like, okay, there's a potential issue here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Hope that helps you, Bitcoin Company. And of course, if you want to hop into a live chat, we'll talk you through it.
Yep.
Ledger can't get hacked if my 24 words are safe and not stored digitally, right? Yeah. So, great question. Essentially, your assets cannot be compromised unless someone gets access to either your 24-word recovery phrase or your device and your PIN, right?
Device and PIN.
Your device obviously stores your 24-word recovery phrase and can be used to produce valid digital signatures that can transfer those assets. Those signatures are produced from your recovery phrase, so a scammer can circumvent the device by taking that recovery phrase and generating those signatures. But yeah, so those are the two cases where you can end up with a total loss of funds. And ultimately it comes down to, yes, access to your device or your recovery phrase.
There are other like niche cases. I don't want to get too into the weeds, but it depends on kind of like your level of what you do in the crypto space. There are certain like scam attack vectors that involve tricking a person into signing a certain type of transaction that then gives a scammer access to certain funds. If you've ever made a swap on a decentralized exchange, you're probably familiar with token approvals, where you basically say, okay, let's say you're on Uniswap and you want to swap USDC for ETH or whatever, then Uniswap would be like, okay, great, but you have to give me permission to access the USDC in your account. So you actually sign two transactions, one being the token approval, where you're saying, okay, Uniswap, yeah, you can access my USDC. And then the next approval to actually make the swap transaction. And so if you're familiar with that, then that can be used to trick a user into granting a token approval, where now a scammer has access via token approval to access that person's token in their account. And so there are other ways, but if you're just a hodler and you're just buying and holding, then the recovery phrase leaked or stolen nano and pin is really the only way that could happen.
Yeah. It's also important to understand the difference in magnitude of attack surface. Yes. So if you're interacting with the DEX on your Ethereum 1 account, and maybe you get tricked into signing an approval that has malicious intent, the biggest risk is to that account. So whatever account you're signing from is the account that's at risk there. If your 24-word recovery phrase is compromised or your device and PIN are accessed, that gives total access to all accounts under that recovery phrase or associated with that device. So there are different levels of risk there. You should act accordingly. But in all cases, you don't want your funds stolen. So only sign approvals that you understand and keep your recovery phrase safe, and don't tell anyone your PIN.
Yep.
Okay. Some months ago, my ERC20 tokens were gone. I had to send it in the ledger so that it shows it again. I hope that problem won't come again. Milkman 0002, it sounds like you're probably facing a synchronization issue. I know a couple months ago there were some issues with the ERC20 tokens. Right. Fortunately, our devs worked really hard and got those patched, and I think things are a lot more stable now. It seemed like we had different tokens that were disappearing at different times. So they did some great work, and I haven't seen any ERC20 issues in a while. So hopefully it won't happen again. If it does, if for any reason you're having trouble seeing an ERC20 token in Ledger Live, go to support.ledger.com, report it to us, send us some screenshots. We'll get the devs on it.
Yep, definitely.
What do you want? Oh, Rick Russo asks, are our Ledger Nano devices safe going through the airport scanning equipment in luggage? Rick Russo, great question. I personally have gone through security
Me too.
quite a few times.
Yeah.
I've traveled abroad with them.
Yep.
Went through customs with them, and they had some questions, but but I've never had issues with it. I have heard anecdotal stories of
nothing concrete
things, but like there's no risk to your funds, certainly.
Right.
And yeah, I guess I've never personally had issues. And so long as you have your 24-word recovery phrase, even if the X-ray were to somehow mess with things and wipe your device, for example, ultimately you can use your 24-word recovery phrase to restore access to those assets. Once you get home, enter the 24 words back into your device, and it'll be as good as it was before.
I do not recommend traveling with your 24-word recovery phrase. That is one thing that should always be kept under lock and key, safe, like used as a last resort. Because if, let's say, even a situation where TSA were to confiscate your ledger, like maybe you fly into a country where they're like, oh no, these things are illegal, I'm confiscating it. That would be a really sucky situation because maybe you paid, if you have a Nano X, you paid $150 for it. And so it would suck to be out that $150, but they couldn't steal your crypto if they confiscated your Nano. You have three attempts, unless you gave them the PIN as well. But if you just chose to not give them the PIN, then if they tried to access the Nano, it would just wipe after 3 attempts, and it would just be a new device for them. So, yeah, so as far as like, if you're worried about confiscation in that case, that's also not really a huge concern. And just like Ben said, if your device happens to get wiped, you just...
Yeah. It is important to note, if you're a Nano X owner, our devices use a lithium battery.
They do.
Right? So I believe those are typically not advised to use in checked bags, so you should probably have it in your carry-on if you are coming.
That is an
A little TSA fact for
yes. Although I will say I brought about 6 Nano X's with me the last time I flew for an event, and they didn't.
you. You
say
checked
anything.
them, or did
Yeah,
they?
no, they're just in my bag.
Oh, okay.
They didn't say anything.
I think the batteries are okay in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
For another stream, or TSA
Yeah.
stream.
Yes.
If someone has your keys, what's the best option to remove them from having access? Do you buy a new ledger and establish your keys and move them to another ledger? Tim, do you want to take the first stab at that?
Yeah, sure. That's a tough situation. If someone has your keys, if they have either your private key or if they have your 24-word recovery phrase, then the only way to remove that from them is to erase it from their mind, or like, yeah, there's really, like, my point is there's really no way to stop them. If I were to lose, for instance, if Ben were to gain access to the 24-word recovery phrase for this Nano, the only recourse I would have to prevent him from stealing my funds would be to move all the crypto off of those accounts before he did. And so it's kind of like the thing, if you were to get in a situation where someone were to request your recovery phrase and they had access to it, if they haven't yet removed funds from the account, it's only because they haven't yet thought to do that. And so really the only recourse is to act faster than them. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Ultimately,
Yeah.
your keys are just a string of data.
Mhm.
That string of data can't be changed. So it's just a random number and letter string. So once keys are compromised, they're compromised permanently. Now, you ask about buying a new ledger. You do not need a new ledger device to create a new set of keys. If you have compromised accounts, we recommend moving all of the assets out of those accounts. Never send crypto in to get those assets out. And then all you have to do is reset your ledger device, generate a new 24-word recovery phrase. You're good to go.
Yep. Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at PJ just dropped some more.
Oh.
Just a really just solid advice.
Yeah, PJ's crushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, as he says, it's the most common way that people
Yep.
get compromised, and unfortunately we see it every day.
Yeah.
It's kind of the worst part of the job.
Yeah.
Is seeing
I'm not
people
laughing
lose
about
assets.
not laughing.
No, PJ's
Yeah.
dropping knowledge. So.
Yeah.
Cool. And yeah, Bitcoin companies, you say, so just recover again. I would run that recovery check, see if you pass or fail, right? If it's the same recovery phrase, then you might want to reach out to Ledger Support and have a more specific conversation about your situation. When will Cardano swapping be available on Ledger Live? Thank you. Jose, that's a really good question. I know we're having trouble showing Ledger Live here, but I believe, are there any swap providers that support Cardano?
I don't actually know.
Okay.
Off my head.
Yeah, it's a great question. So a couple things to note about swapping, right? First of all of our swaps are facilitated by third parties. So we've got Changely, we've got, now I'm blanking, CIC. We have a variety of swap providers in Ledger Live, and each of those has different regional restrictions, different trading pairs that they support. And so your first place you want to stop is the swap tab in Ledger Live. You press that button, you'll be able to select the asset. And then from there, it will direct you to providers that support that asset. If that's not working for you, you can also hop into the Discover tab, and there's even more providers in there. So you can poke through, read the description, find swap providers, and try it out for yourself. But in this case, we're just looking at Ledger Live now to see if Cardano is
It doesn't look like Cardano.
Oh, it might not be Bitcoin then. Or do you have a crypto?
Oh, do I? I do, but I don't. Oh, I do. Yeah.
Oh,
Try. I don't. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain that it's not, but we're just checking right now.
but Jose, at the root of your question is the fact that all of our swaps are facilitated by third parties. Ledger
Yeah.
doesn't do any swapping. We're not an exchange. And so ultimately, the timelines on when those things get integrated are kind of tricky. We
usually
can
find
certainly,
out, like,
we can certainly escalate the feedback, and we'll make sure it gets to the right people. That people want Cardano swapping and Ledger Live, but unfortunately, there is no timeline of it.
yeah, that would be up to like Changely or Coinify or one of our swap providers. Okay, we'll support Cardano.
Okay. Yusuf asks, hello, if I create a Solana wallet, is it necessary to get a seed phrase for the wallet, I guess? Tim, say about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, if you want to create a Solana wallet in any wallet, be it Ledger Live or in like Phantom, like a Solana, hot wallet or whatever, then yes, you would have to have a seed phrase. There's always a seed phrase associated with it because your account's created from your seed phrase. So if you're using Ledger Live, you'll get your seed phrase right off the bat. As soon as you plug in your Nano when you first buy it, it's going to say, welcome to Ledger Nano, press the right button to continue. You're going to derive a seed phrase. Then you'll have the option to create your accounts. And Solana is one of them. I really wish Ledger Live wasn't bugging out right now, but we have a Sol account in Ledger Live and you can stake from Ledger Live, but these are all derived from your seed phrase. So to answer your question, yeah, you do have to have a seed phrase to create accounts on the blockchain.
But if your question is, on the contrary, maybe another interpretation, if you're asking if to set up a Solana wallet, you need a specific seed phrase for that, and
Yeah.
either way,
Yeah.
if you're using Phantom, for example, do you need to get a recovery phrase from Phantom before you connect the Ledger device? I don't think so.
No, I think it's just MetaMask.
MetaMask,
Yeah, I think you can go right to connecting.
Yeah, so if you're setting up a new wallet using a third-party wallet, and it gives you a 12-word or 24-word recovery phrase, if you create accounts under that recovery phrase, they won't be associated with your Ledger device. You want to make sure you're using the connect to hardware wallet option within that wallet to ensure that the Solana address is associated with your recovery phrase. 777. Yeah, sorry, we did miss that. Also, last stream, I was here. I asked about the Ledger accessories given to resellers along with the Nanos. Any updates since then, if it's possible? Was that your stream? Or was that the
I don't
streams?
remember. It could have been, but I don't remember. But I think I can maybe take a crack at that question.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know of any situation where our resellers are able to be given accessories. There are certain programs like our affiliate program, for instance, where the affiliate and their viewers get certain like items and like rewards. Like the affiliate will gain certain rewards that they can give out to the community based on the amount of links that are used. In fact, you can learn more by going to affiliate.ledger.com. However, I don't know of any specific thing that is being talked about, like more specific, like to give our resellers. Like they would have to just sell the accessory products individually, and then they can just do that straight from their link. So let's go to affiliate.ledger.com.
And 77, if we are kind of missing the point on your question,
Yeah.
I don't know that I was on that stream. It sounds like Tim doesn't recall. So
I don't really recall.
If you could rephrase it, maybe we can get you a more specific answer.
Yeah. Check out the affiliate program though, because it's actually pretty cool. Yeah, if you have followers, if you have a big audience, it may be better. You may be better off going with the affiliate program versus doing like the refer a friend program, which the refer a friend is super awesome also because you both earn Bitcoin every time someone buys a device. But the affiliate program is similar, but with kind of more perks. So I would definitely check that out. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah.
Rick Caruso, are our crypto assets safe from IRS confiscation?
I love this question.
Great question. So ultimately, the only person or people or organization that can access your crypto assets secured by your Ledger device are any entities that have either your 24-word recovery phrase or your device and your PIN. So by extension, if the IRS weren't to have either of those things, they would be unable to access it. and ultimately they would have to compel you to give them that kind of access.
Yep.
This isn't guidance on how you should live your life.
No.
This isn't legal advice by
Yeah.
any means.
Yeah.
We encourage you to comply with all local authorities.
Definitely. Yep. Definitely comply with all local authorities. Yeah. It would be impossible though for anyone, including the IRS, government, us, anybody. It's just the nature of self custody. Without that 24 recovery phrase, it is not possible to access those accounts. Similarly for you, if you were to lose your recovery phrase and not have access to it, and then a year from now you're like, I know I have crypto accounts, but I can't find my recovery phrase, my ledger's broken, you would be equally as shut out from those accounts without having the recovery phrase. So that's really, everyone says the term "not your keys, not your crypto," but it's such an integral part of self custody, and it really is just the cold hard fact is without the keys you cannot access that. But that being said, they are a governing agency that has legal authority, and you should definitely comply and follow all compliance. We definitely don't want to advocate anything illegal here. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we made it through the thread here, just like 7-7 did. If we did happen to miss your question, please throw it back in. But that about does it. Oh, here's a question.
Nice.
Ledger's new nano case. I assume it's not scary because credit cards sometimes stop working from location. So a question about magnets on Ledger cases. Ultimately, our devices are designed with this in mind. If we're putting magnets on a case, I think I'd imagine our engineers have looked at it. I've never actually gotten that question before.
Neither have I. Yeah. And it definitely makes sense because there are so the issue with credit cards, the magnet doesn't actually affect the smart card chip. The magnet affects the, I don't want to expose my secret credit card number, but it actually affects the magnetic strip, which is kind of like an older technology that was used in the magnetic strip. So I don't think that in this case it would have much of it, but I'm not an expert. Yeah. I'm not an expert.
Ultimately, your Ledger device uses that same smart card technology that a credit card has, the kind of chip that you have to insert at the bank or at a point of sale.
Yep.
And so those are more resilient, I believe, to magnetic issues.
Yep. And the magnets they're pretty weak. Yeah, they're not super strong magnets. I assume you're talking about in the Ledger stacks and then the
cases.
Because none of the other cases for any of the other products would have magnets in it, I know of.
Cool. Okay, 7-7. So it was with Felix and Roy the other day. Yeah, they're on the EU side of things, so they're not in our office here. Two options. You could either pop back into one of their AMAs, or you could open a ticket with us and ask us to follow up with them.
Yeah,
if you drop their names, then whatever agent that ticket gets assigned to can message them and get that information for you. But unfortunately, they're on the EU side. We don't get to see them every day.
Yeah, hardly ever.
So, sorry about that. 56. I have 2 DOT accounts on Live. One is inaccessible. To merge the 2 or to stake. I just transferred DOT for the first time. Here it says check hardware wallet or passphrase. I have a Ledger or 3 Ledger hardware wallets. Okay, so this is great. You actually gave all the information for me to probably answer this question.
Yeah.
Most of the time, people getting this error are missing some of those details. But the recovery phrase error means that the device that is connected and that you're trying to use to initiate or approve a transfer or to validate an address, whatever that device is not the device that was used to set up that account. Or the recovery phrase in that device is not the recovery phrase used to derive that account. So if you have 3 Ledger hardware wallets, the first thing I would do, unplug whichever one's giving you the error, try your other 2. Cycle through those 3. If you're still getting the error, then you're going to have to go find your recovery phrases. Use that recovery check app that we linked above. Figure out which devices have which phrase and see if maybe one of those phrases isn't in one of the devices. Because ultimately, somewhere along the line in Ledger Live, you added a DOT account from a recovery phrase that is no longer being used to try and send from it. Essentially, first try all 3 of your devices, then make sure that you've got all your recovery phrases, make sure that they're in the devices. And if the problem persists, you got 3 devices, it can get really confusing. It can help to number both the devices and the recovery phrases. But if you want to talk through it further, hop into a live chat with one of our support agents, and we deal with these things all the time. So, 56 also asks, how do you check the balance on the Ledger hardware device and not on live?
So you can't check on the actual device. So the Ledger Nanos aren't set up to actually display anything that is in the account, because the only way that it would be able that information from a crypto account can be displayed is if that program, application, wallet is connected to the internet, where it can pull that information from the Block Explorer. So because the Ledger device is not actually connected to the internet through the USB connection, it's only connected, secure connection through your computer, it wouldn't be able to pull in data from outside and display it for you on the screen. Just for security reasons, it just wouldn't be able to work that way. But what you can do is you can get your public wallet addresses for your accounts. Let's say you have an Ethereum account, and you can go and you can check it outside of Ledger Live by putting it into a Block Explorer. So like Ethereum uses the main Block Explorer for Ethereum is Etherscan.io. You can just go to my MetaMask too. Oh yeah, you can do. Yep. So he's getting and the public wallet address is the receive address. So when you go to receive crypto and it syncs and it generates the address for you to copy, that's your public wallet address. So yeah, so Ben just grabbed it and he put it here into Etherscan. And you can see it's got the exact same balance that, well, maybe you can't see because our Ledger Live has been bugging out. But to let you know, this is the exact same balance that is in the account in Ledger Live. We're just checking it outside of Ledger. So it's always, your accounts are always auditable outside of Ledger Live, but you do need to be connected to the internet in order to access it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And ultimately, if you're contacting Ledger support about an Ethereum related issue in Ledger Live, it's probably where we're taking your ETH address to investigate.
Yep.
You can see a lot of things differently here. And also, since Ledger Live has its own infrastructure that interacts with the blockchain, it's a good sort of second opinion on what you're seeing. So maybe you don't see a token in Ledger Live, you can come to Etherscan and make sure that it is indeed not in your account, or maybe it is.
Maybe it is, and Ledger Live just can't see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If it's here, though, it's in your account. If it's on Etherscan, 100% it's in your account. Likewise, if it's not on Etherscan, it's 100% not in your account.
Awesome. We got about 1 minute here, but we'll try to, let's see, what do we got? We already addressed the question about the CL card. TLDR for you here, Kim, is it's ultimately a product provided by banks, and they're working through some stuff. It is still coming, as far as we know.
Hopefully soon.
We don't have any new updates.
Yeah.
We're also waiting. So
yes.
Looking forward to it. Got a question about Ledger going open source. I think we can kind of briefly touch on that.
Yeah.
We have taken steps and launched or released some documentation specific to Recover and in general, as well as a roadmap.
Yes.
Right?
An open source roadmap.
Yeah. So there is an open source roadmap out there. It is our plan to make as much of it open source as possible. So keep an eye out and check our docs for would that be an academy maybe?
The open source roadmap. I would just
Probably in the blog.
Yeah, I think it's in the blog. I know I have a link to it.
Here we go. Yeah.
Oh, it's a support article. Look at that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Best department.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to learn more about our open source roadmap, I will link it here in the thread for you. I can't talk and type at the same time.
Surprisingly cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, take a look at that for you. Cool.
Rick Caruso is asking, if you scroll up, it's affiliate.ledger.com. We linked it above. Definitely check it out. If you've got a website and you want to become a Ledger affiliate, there's some good perks for both you and your followers that can you guys can make out.
Yeah. Likewise, if you're kind of a smaller scale, or if you have an Instagram or Twitter and you want to promote Ledger products and earn some Bitcoin, you can use the Refer a Friend program, which is right in the Discover tab of Ledger Live.
Yeah.
Go to Discover, Refer a Friend, sign up. You can earn up to $1,000 in Bitcoin a year.
Yeah.
Just referring people and helping people secure their crypto.
Yep. I honestly don't know why I haven't. It seems kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like I tell people to buy
the X bio.
Yeah, I tell people to buy Ledgers all the time.
Cool. And then Bitcoin Company, Etherscan can see Bitcoin balances. So each blockchain will have a unique explorer. In the case of Bitcoin, it's a little trickier. You can use something like blockchain.com.
Yep, or Blockchair.
Yeah, or Blockchair to look at specific transactions, and also scan something called your XPub, which you can get in Ledger Live. Unfortunately, we can't show you today, but helps out.
I think probably. Oh yeah, we do. We actually how to.
Yeah, Bitcoin company for Bitcoin. You got Bitcoin in the name, so I assume that's what you're focusing on. You can use your XPub. It's a little more complicated just because of the way Bitcoin is built.
Bitcoin is complicated.
But yeah, you do have options to view Bitcoin transactions and Bitcoin balances using third-party block explorers as well.
Yeah, Bitcoin's a little complicated by design. It's very anonymous using Bitcoin. Well, it's a lot more anonymous and it's a lot more confusing because of the method, the UTXO method. We don't really have a whole lot of time to get into that right now, but we do have some really good documentation in the Ledger Academy. Definitely check that out.
Yeah, awesome. So we're a little bit over time, but just want to say thank you guys so much for coming in today. Had a lot of great questions in the thread. We really appreciate you guys coming here with your questions. We love being able to answer them for you. We love making this kind of content. So if you have feedback on the content, you got more stuff you want to see from us, drop it in the thread or comment on these videos. Of course, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button for that YouTube algorithm. And yeah, stop back in. We got Friday, we have a stream.
Yeah, I believe there's the EU team has a stream tomorrow, and then we have a stream on Friday.
Yeah.
So,
And for you, 7/7, if you want to hop into that EU stream, it'll be tomorrow morning West Coast time.
yeah, so 7:30 a.m. West Coast time. I think it's 4:30 Eastern or Central time. We've got the schedule.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop the schedule.
Oh yeah, drop the schedule.
Yeah,
in the chat.
I'm just gonna drop that.
Yeah, and then Friday we'll have another stream, and then we have started doing AMAs on Mondays. So if you like coming to these, you don't want to wait for Wednesday, you can tune in same time, Monday afternoon.
Yep, it's gonna be same time.
4
Yep.
p.m. Pacific time. And then one last thing, it is Tim's birthday. If you want to throw some love in the chat, it's Tim's birthday today.
Calling me out.
Our fearless leader doing so many of these live streams. But yeah, so here's that link for that schedule. That'll do it for us.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Sweet.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Got anything to say?
I got nothing.
All right, not
Stay
your keys.
safe. Yep, not your keys, not your crypto.
There
Yep.
you go.
Bye, everybody.